Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to the second episode of turning Fallout 4 into Fallout New Vegas with mods. That's right, we are finally back. It's been a while since the first episode, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it already, in that episode we tackled landscape and UI to make Fallout 4 look like Fallout New Vegas, so if you haven't seen it already, go ahead and check that one out. But today, we're going to be covering gameplay mods. We're going to grab features and gameplay elements from Fallout New Vegas and bring them back into Fallout 4, specifically things that were missing and weren't included in Fallout 4. Now, most of these gameplay mods are pretty simple, so we're going to bust through them pretty quick because we do have a handful of mods to cover. As always, they will all be linked down in the description below if you want to try any of these for yourself, and there will also be Xbox links if there are any available for those mods. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the first mod. And that first mod is Classic Vats by TroyIrving. Now, what does Classic Vats mean? Well, if you haven't played Fallout 4, you haven't played New Vegas, when you enter Vats, has a freeze frame. Time has completely stopped and you're able to select your targets while using Vats. But in Fallout 4, time is merely slowed. So enemies will still attack you and charge you, it's just that they're going to be doing it much, much slower. So if you download this mod, this is going to bring back the New Vegas style, where time is going to be completely frozen, which personally, I like a lot. I don't really use VATS in general, definitely was something that was necessary in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas since the gunplay was meh. Fallout 4 definitely has very much improved gunplay, and I think it's stable enough to use without VATS, at least for me personally. But if you are a VATS user and you like the classic style, I'd highly recommend checking out Classic VATS by TroyIrving. All it's going to do is stop the time. But there are actually optional files you can download that aren't really relevant in this video, but if you want to check them out, they also have different speeds you can download. Some that will slow it down even more, some that will speed it up, and there's even a version of VATS that has no time delay at all, so it's all in real time. So you can customize this mod to your liking, but for the purposes of making it feel more like New Vegas, I definitely recommend grabbing the one that actually freezes time. Now, the next mod we're checking out is actually super interesting, and that is the Damage Threshold Framework by Shavkacagarikia. Now, this mod is actually going to be a simplified version of the damage threshold framework that will be included in Fallout 4 New Vegas, but we can actually play with this version right now. Now, for those who are unaware, Fallout 4 completely changed the way that armor works when moving from the classic style up to Fallout 4. Now, armor is just a straight-up resistance value that will decrease the amount of damage dealt by each weapon whenever it hits you, but with the damage threshold framework, the weapon damages are going to be the same across the board, but the armor is going to have a threshold that it can take before damage actually leaks through. So rather than just reducing the percentage of damage you take, it's going to actually have a flat number, which I think is really cool. So let's say leather armor stops 5 and metal armor stops 10. If something shoots you for a damage of 15, you're going to take the respective damages. So in leather armor, you'll take 10 of that damage, and with metal armor, you'll take 5 of that damage. It's a very simplified analogy of how this mod works. There's actually a lot more going on behind the scenes, but still, you kind of get the idea. It's going to make armor feel much, much more important, and it's going to add a couple other features on top of that. Now that there is armor that will actually pretty much negate some smaller arms fire, there are also the inclusion of armor-piercing ammunition. So with this mod installed, you'll also be able to equip armor-piercing bullets to pretty much any vanilla firearm. You just need to head over to a weapons workbench and you can equip an armor-piercing modification that will allow you to break through some of that armor and do some more damage. This works just like it did in New Vegas. Whenever you're shooting at an enemy who has a higher damage threshold than your weapon is able to break through, they will have a little shield up next to their name, and if you're able to break through that armor, they will have an icon that shows a little broken shield, which I think is super cool. Definitely harkens back to that classic gameplay style, and it's awesome to see it make its way back into Fallout 4. Now, for the next mod we're checking out, we have something huge, something that's absolutely necessary for that classic Fallout style, and that is Be Exceptional by Rcoll. This mod is going to completely overhaul Fallout 4's perk system to be more like that of Fallout New Vegas. This is going to make it so you actually have skills that you need to level up, things like barter, speech, small guns, heavy guns, stuff like that, that actually allow you to level up your different talents rather than just have a giant list of perks that you pick at every level. Now, there are still perks included in this mod. As you level up, you'll still be able to choose perks, but now they'll be based off of the skills that you've already started leveling up. So whenever you level up, you're going to get a set amount of points, and you can dump those points into whichever skills you want. And they're all going to have a ton of different effects. Too many to cover in this video, but the idea is something along the lines of this. Whenever you level up your barter skill, the prices are going to be better at stores. Whenever you level up your chemistry skill, you're going to unlock more recipes every so often. As you level up gunsmith, you're going to unlock more crafting recipes as those points go up. It's no longer locked behind these different perk trees that have multiple levels to them. Instead, the perks are going to feel a bit more unique, and some of them have even been edited to fit better in this mod and bring back more of that classic New Vegas style. There are actually a couple of mods that do systems like this already, like the mod that we just covered recently known as the Skyrim leveling system, but the reason that we're talking about Be Exceptional is because I think this gives you the best form of a New Vegas style leveling system compared to any of the other mods out there on the Nexus. So if you're absolutely sick of Fallout 4's leveling system, or you just want a breath of fresh air or something completely new to try when it comes to role-playing in Fallout 4, I'd highly recommend this one. The thing I think Fallout 4 did the most poorly is its RPG mechanics, and so this is going to help bring that back to the classic style just a little bit. Now, the next mod we're checking out is a very, very simple one, but one that I think just about everybody uses at this point, and that is the classic holstered weapon system by Shavkacagarikia. I'm never actually going to be able to pronounce that username correctly. I'm just going to give it my all and not do second takes. Now, the classic holster weapon system is going to allow you to stow your weapons and have them actually appear on your character, just like they did in classic Fallout games. I have no idea why this wasn't included in Fallout 4, and I don't really think we can blame the engine since this was a feature that was even present in Skyrim, but essentially, with this mod installed, you put away your weapon and it appears on your back, or if you're putting away a pistol, it'll appear on your hip, or if you're putting away a melee weapon, it'll appear on your other hip. The only thing that doesn't actually show up is heavy weapons, but that was the case in the past games as well, since there's no way to really store a heavy weapon other than putting it up your prison pocket. There really isn't too much more to talk about with this mod. Put away the weapon, it goes on your back, and it just works. It's an excellent mod. Sadly, there isn't really a version of this for Xbox, but if you're on PC and you have the script extender, this mod is a must-have and should appear in just about every load order. Now, the next mod we're checking out is one that has a permanent spot in my load order ever since I first found it, and that mod is known as Classic Radiation by Fallout Kid 12 and TheIrontoads. Specifically, we're talking about Classic Radiation 2. This is an addition to the Irontoads mod that's going to completely revamp the system and add a couple more classic mechanics to it. Now, in case you haven't played the classic Fallouts, Fallout 4 made a big change to radiation so that now it actually eats away at your total health pool. There is a shared health bar between health and radiation, and as you accrue more radiation, your total health goes down, and that's just not how it worked in the classic Fallout games. There were actually two separate bars to track your radiation and your health, and that's how it's going to work now. While they do still appear in the same HUD element, you'll notice that there is a bit of a transparency to the radiation now. The radiation and the health will overlap. So as you take radiation, it's not going to reduce your total health pool, which is a huge benefit to me. I hated that mechanic in Fallout 4. You will, however, take a ton of debuffs as your radiation gets worse, just like you did in the classic Fallout games. And even though the radiation now overlaps with the health, when it actually fills the bar, you will die. Even though your health won't reach 0, you will be at the maximum capacity of radiation that your character can handle, and you will die, just like you did in the classic Fallout games. Now, there are two different versions of this mod. There is the Fallout New Vegas style, which is the one we're showcasing today. This is going to have your character die at maximum radiation, and it's going to give you all the same debuffs that were present in those games. However, there is also another version worth mentioning, which is the Fallout 1 and 2 version, which will give you all of the same debuffs from those games and makes it so that when you reach maximum radiation, your character doesn't die off the bat. You actually have 3 days to cure your radiation. If you keep that radiation level for 3 days, though, your character will then die. Now, since we're talking about turning Fallout 4 into New Vegas, I'd highly recommend picking up the New Vegas style option of this mod, but there is another option out there if it fits your load order better. Now, the next mod is going to seem odd to some of you, and you're probably wondering why I would ever install this in my game, but if we're trying to make that classic New Vegas style, you need to check out Disable Quick Loot by JackRob. This mod makes it so that the quick loot menu no longer exists. If you want to search a container, you have to go to the container, click search, and actually open it. Now, as much as people like to diss a lot of the elements of Fallout 4's gameplay, I think most people really do enjoy the quick loot menu. So much so that many people have even modded that menu into New Vegas and even Skyrim. But if you're trying to simulate that classic nostalgic feel of the other games, you can download this mod to add a bit of a slowdown to your search times. I know most people are going to pass this mod right away, but honestly, I kind of like this. I think that one thing that Fallout 4 does is it makes the game go a little too fast. The inclusion of sprint and the quick loot menu make it so that you can tear down an entire area in less than 5 minutes. This mod and also disabling sprint is going to make it so that you have to slow down, really take in your environment, and that's something that I think the past Fallout games did really, really well. You had to kind of walk through the desert in New Vegas and really take in the wasteland. If you wanted to search something, you needed to look at every single object and really make sure that you're looking at containers and all of the stuff around them, and I think this mod helps to do that. It's just a little thing, but if you want to try it out, it will be linked in the description below along with all the other mods in this video. And finally, that takes us to our last mod, another one that I think just about everybody is probably running, and that is the Silent Protagonist mod by StupidDunmer. This mod's really simple. All it's going to do is disable the voice of your character. No longer will they speak in dialogue, it will just be silent, like it was in Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Skyrim, and every other Bethesda RPG. Having the voice characters in Fallout 4 was definitely interesting when it first came out, but it got a little bit tiresome after your third or fourth character, and it really kind of breaks the roleplay element that should be featured in an RPG. It doesn't feel like you, it feels like Nate and Nora, and so if you want to make your own character, I definitely recommend picking up Silent Protagonist, and again, it helps bring back that classic Fallout feel. There are a ton of Silent Protagonist mods on the Nexus, so you can find the one that best fits your needs. Silent Protagonist is by far one of the most popular and has a ton of compatibility patches, but you play around with them and figure out which one is your favorite. But they're all going to do pretty much the same thing. I think that covers just about everything that I could find on the Nexus for adding more Fallout New Vegas gameplay elements into Fallout 4, but if you think I missed anything, be sure to leave a comment, as I'm sure anybody watching this video would love more recommendations, and I know I would. With that though, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you found at least one mod to throw into your load order. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to drop a rating. Consider subscribing if you haven't already for more videos just like this. Big shout out to all of my patrons for supporting every single video. And of course, a very special thank you to Captain Chaos, Helljumper, Indecisive Wolf, Jackie, Noid, John Moreland, Cushy, Logan, Rigmaiden, Mikerhan, Moonlit Gamer Feed, Timmy76, Youth RC, and Voider for joining that Tier 3 Patreon membership. If you'd like to support all of my work over on Patreon, you can do so using the link down in the description, but it's completely optional. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace.